So, you want to hear a story? Well, have I got one for you?
A lot of people around here with guns, so kind of helps to have an itchy trigger finger.
Do you know that it takes approximately 7 pounds of pressure to rip one of these bad boys off?
As soon as he clocks that, he just darts for the shadows.
As a, deep, cynical character flaw, I pretty much assume everybody's hiding something all the time.
My boss was like, "Oh, you gotta fight this guy, or you're gonna get another bullet in the head." And I was like, "Okay."
Just starting off with a bang, this is Borderlands.
When we last left off, our crew of mercs and miscreants had accepted a job on behalf of Captain Sharon Odessa of the Black Wings, which had brought them to the planet Pandora. Pandora is not only ripe with the rare mineral known as Eridium, but also home to all manner of beasts and bandits. Our crew soon found themselves in a firefight with the Lava Cross gang, before being accosted by a giant pyre thresher. It looked as though our hero's journey might come to an early end, until a well-timed grenade turned the tides. Winston, the leader of the gang, thanked our heroes for putting aside their fight and showed them to Tracer Vlad's workshop, where the crew found a clue to Vlad's last known location, an old abandoned Hyperion iridium extraction plant deep within the Eridium Blight. Fidget also uncovered a 20-year-old photo of Vlad, arm in arm with Tegan's parents. And it is here, as Tegan's eyes glaze over with swirling emotions and memory, that we resume our tale of vaults and villains.
So everyone in this room that's kind of been looking around various corners and trying to find, these evidences of anywhere that Vlad may have gone. All of a sudden, Tegan's eyes kind of roll into the back of her head, and she boom hits the ground. So you slip from consciousness. It's just like blackness that overtakes you, and then shortly you find yourself back in that familiar mind coliseum with your let's call it your psycho ganger staring you down. Nearly frothing at the mouth, you see this hulking version of yourself wearing the remnants of a psycho mask. Looks at you and she just hisses at you, just, "Coward! Look at me while I scream into your soul!" And takes a step forward to you. "The glory of the fire, the pyre of truth, and you ran from it! You ran from the blood and from the flames!" And a flash goes through your mind of when you first laid eyes on the pyre thresher and thought for just a moment that this is something you can't punch. So what do you do as you find yourself in this empty, dilapidated, Roman-esque Colosseum with this portion of yourself staring down at you?
What was I supposed to do? Just let it kill me,
And the psycho ganger stares at you, just twitching and shaking. Just, fear reeks of you. You're shivering, hiding from the truth. I am the truth.
What truth? What are you talking about? I don't know. What truth am I seeking? I'm just I'm Tegan, you know, I walk around and I punch stuff and I help my friends, and you're not making any sense.
At this point, she begins taking deliberate steps towards you, just in an even stride. Let me show you. And she reaches out to try to attack you. Now, in this instance, instead of using like strength or constitution, I am going to have you roll a wisdom saving throw.
Okay, wisdom. Well, let's see. Well, let's see how this goes. That is a. Let's see. Do I have any bonuses in wisdom? No, I do not. So that is a 14.
14. All right. So this time the Psycho Ganger grabs you and like slams you to the ground and has their hands like basically around your head, like pressing it into like the ground. And she stares at you and she just goes, "Witness!" And you flash again, and it is you as a little girl, like just sitting in what appears to be just like a regular, almost like living space of a room, just a common area. And you see your parents. They're arguing, but it sounds like Charlie Brown parents. You know, it's like whoa, 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 whoa. But there's a lot of hand gestures, and like deliberately turning and like pointing at you as they argue. And it flashes back and just goes, and it's back to your psycho mushing your head into the ground, just like, see it. Let's go ahead and let's have you make another wisdom saving throw.
All right. Ooh, that's a 6.
Ooh, well, I rolled an 8, so. And as she presses your head even harder down, you feel like the pressure building in your head. You flash again, and this time you're in a different space. Still very small, but there's people everywhere, and everyone seems to be mad. There's an air to this place, tension. And you see your parents talking with some woman, and again they're arguing, and everyone looks mad. But you can't tell exactly what's happening in this. And you flash back to your Psycho Ganger, pressing even harder on your face, and go, see it! Go ahead and make another wisdom saving throw.
Alright. 18.
Alright. So, on this one, like, the Psycho Ganger, like, presses down harder, and you feel, like, the flash coming, but you manage to, like, kind of fight it back. You have a moment where you are temporarily overpowering this entity of yours. What do you want to do? She's on top of you, like hand on your head, just like, you know, your brain presses against your skull and it feels like this, you know, like.
So basically, like, if I can try to like just get her off of me, or like fight her, or like just kick her off me or something.
Bite her.
Awesome. Yeah. Moving your hand just down the side of your face to the point where you can like get her thumb in your teeth. You bite down and she lets out a scream, rears back enough that you're able to just like monkey flip her over you. And you get up to one knee and she turns and meets your gaze, basically inches from each other's face. Go ahead and make one more wisdom saving throw.
Ooh, 5.
With primal furiosity, she dives back on you, and this time she's like, you're both like on your knees standing. She's got your head in her hands, and her like thumbs begin to press into your eyes as you like let out like a scream, and she goes, "Witness!" And you flash one more time, and it's your dad. Again, it's arguing. There's always arguing with these. Everyone seems so tense, so angry all the time. He's talking to some guy, like bigger, brawny shoulders, wearing some kind of a face-obscuring visor. And the guy punches your dad hard in the stomach. You see your dad like crumple over. But then he pats him on the back and laughs, and your dad kind of like wincing, like rights himself back up. And your parents, both your mom and your dad, begin to turn away from you and walk with this man going somewhere, as like the outer rims of your vision become like hazy. Your dad looks back at you, and though you didn't know it, you realize now that was the last time you were ever going to see your dad, because moments later you are whisked away, carried in the darkness, and you flash back to your Psycho Ganger, who like releases your eyes with her thumbs and slowly lets go of your head. And it's just kind of sitting there like, see it! She like reaches out, but this time grabs you by your shoulders and like leans into you and like not quite screaming, but like in your ear just goes, "Find the noise!" And you wake up and you find yourself on the cold floor of this like wooden, flooring of this hut, and all your friends are surrounded, looking down at you. Is anyone else doing anything in this moment? As for like 30 seconds, Tegan was just out cold.
Not medicining, because I'm not good at that.
Yeah, I mean, short of like, unless we're carrying smelling salts, I think it would just be like a shaker by the shoulders type of thing, or if depending how much time lapses here, and whether or not it looks like she's swallowing her tongue.
I'd say Kimmy's checking for a pulse.
Okay, you find
Just on the wrist.
You find a ridiculously rapid pulse. And Tegan, you wake up. You're like cold sweating. You're like panting and breathing like you just woke up from like a nightmare, and that phrase is repeating in your head. Just find the noise.
Guys, I just had the craziest dream. But I'm better. But I think I'm better
most
now.
of us dream when we sleep at nighttime. You know, when we warn ourselves by laying down intentionally. And what do you mean you had a dream?
Oh, you know, like I just had one of those dreams. I just had one of those dreams of my traumatic experiences as a child, and then I believe my other self is trying to tell me something, but I don't know what because she's kind of crazy.
I will also say the moment you wake up and while you're talking, Duck comes and like basically jams a funnel into your mouth. It begins pouring some sludge that he just whipped up into it. It tastes like absolute garbage, but you do actually feel like a little better once it hits your stomach. Like you just kind of get like a little nice kind of. And he looks at you and he's just like, well, sorry, I thought you were dying.
What was
Poppy's
that?
gonna like look at the others with kind of concern. Her other self is crazy, she says.
Yeah, I don't think that's super good for you. Are you okay? Like,
Yeah, I'm fine now.
alrighty.
Winston.
We're chalking that up as normal now. Okay. All right.
Winston.
Well, you bounced back on your feet quick. I'll give you that.
But I saw that picture of Vlad, and he was with my parents, and I guess they knew each other. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, definitely. Like, that's so weird. What a coincidence.
Mm-hmm.
All galaxy.
And Winston, the leader of the Lava Cross gang, the tink that allowed you in here, just kind of like looks at all of you guys and been like, you guys are fucking weird.
Yeah, we get that a lot.
Yeah, I was just about to say that exact same thing. Just imagining Kimmy and Fidget like looking at him at the same time and saying that in unison. You get that a lot.
Yeah, right.
Find the noise.
That'd be a refreshing change of pace. The noise seems to find us so often.
Do you think the noise is gunfire and chaos?
I don't know if quite it, because like we've been around a lot of gunfire and chaos.
Oh, I'm no good. Why is my other self talking in riddles? I'm no good at riddles. Come on.
Does other you normally talk in riddles, or is that something new?
That's all she does is talking. That's all she does is talking riddles. It's like she's talking gibberish.
Well,
Maybe
if she's
it's only
you and you're not
gibberish.
good at riddles, maybe it is.
Yeah, you might not have just cracked it. Maybe the other you thinks on a different level. Like how, you know, if Skags could talk, they probably wouldn't talk about literature, you know.
Yes, we read Chopin.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like that. Like maybe it just seems like gibberish because it's, you know, the other you uses the same words you do because they know the same words, but they're actually speaking a different language. If that makes sense.
What is it you think that she wants to tell you anyway?
No, like something. It's gotta do something with my parents, like or something. I don't know.
Oh, you can ask the bounty.
I could ask the bounty. Maybe I can punch it out of him.
Right, I mean, his life
Maybe
is
he'll
totally
answer if
forfeit.
you like
Once we
pick him
find
up by the ankles and shake him a little.
I can do that too.
Yeah.
And at this point, Winston kind of chimes in and be like, well, not to break it up here, but y'all said you needed the Eridium salt, so I don't want any more trouble from anything. We're good. We got building to do. And he points to a section of the floor covered by a rug. He goes, under the floor, it's safe. That's where he keeps the Eridium salt. Like, tell your boss we're good. We're out of the game. Like, it's like we're done.
Yeah,
Yes,
I do.
I don't remember her name. That's probably her real priority, though, is getting her stuff back. But I still think we find the guy.
Yeah, that's very true. Nip it in the bud, so to speak.
Also, while we're at it, I am going to throw up the map you guys found, sitting on the desk with all of the notes involving the process of mining. So there was a map that had a possible whereabouts to Vlad site of the digging location. So this T up here is the tunnel entrance where Vlad goes through the mines and underground through in between the Sawtooth Cauldron and Eridium Blight and arrives right there. And these X's seem to be places he has dug, but they get a little fresher as we go down the map until that big circle one around the Eridium extraction plant.
Yeah, I forgot about that until now.
As Fidget, you were the one that found it initially.
And were we?
Watch out for that.
I can't remember. Were we contract? Did we just need to get the stuff or find the guy? I think we should go look there regardless.
No, I think we should go look for the guy. The contract actually states that we find him and find out whether he was double crossing or something bad happened to him. So, but we haven't really answered that question. My feeling is, though, no matter what, we've just sort of kind of accomplished one of her bigger priorities. Is my point.
It was the optional objective to recover the Eridium salts and bring it back, and you would be awarded a lot more money for completing it.
Right.
But the main mission was you don't double cross the Black Wings, and this needs to be dealt with. It's more about reputation at this point.
Nice. And now has more answers for us to give us.
Indeed. So Winston goes, all right, well, you got that. I think we're square. We're still, licking our wounds here. Gotta go collect what's left of the bodies of the dead. No harm, no foul. It is what it is. Even though you definitely killed more of us than the Thresher did, but that's okay.
Yeah, sorry about that.
It's Pandora. Welcome to Pandora.
Hazard of the occupation. I mean, clearly. But what are you gonna do?
But anyways, you guys are welcome to kind of look around, hold up here, however long you need. We're doing a skag roast, so we'll probably fry up some of this Thresher too, and see what happens there. So you guys are welcome to kind of rejoin us if you're hungry later. But I'm gonna get the skit in here, and he turns to leave Vlad's hut, leaving you guys alone.
Should we do a rest before we continue looking for him?
Probably. I'm a little worse for wear right now.
I could definitely use a short rest at least, if not a long one.
Please.
It's up to you guys what you want to do on that front. Looking at the map here, anybody can make a survival check if you would like to kind of decipher a little bit more of the map if you can.
Oh, that's a nat 1, so I'm not going to understand anything about maps, which is fine. I'm directionally challenged as a person too.
Yeah, I got a 2, so that's a no-go for me as well.
So it begins.
Well, Hobbs got a 13.
Okay, not bad.
He's seen a map before.
Yeah, I was like, I did not beat that. It's not my forte.
Alright, so
I didn't get better than you.
yeah, Hobbs.
One time I was in this mall and there was this picture and it said, "You are here."
We're here.
That's what this mark of the T must mean. You are here. But, yeah. Looking at the map, with a 13, you're able to pick up on some of the clues that Fidget did as well. That obviously some of these markings a little bit more fresh, but you also you can tell a little bit of distance-wise. It looks like to get to the Eridium extraction plant by foot, it would probably take upwards to a standard day. But you also see up to the north of where the tunnel entrance is, there does appear to be a catch a ride up there, so you could spawn a vehicle and shorten the travel to possibly, a few hours as opposed to a full day. And also, speaking of full days, one thing you guys do know is that we'll say, you've been on Pandora for, a few hours at this point as you kind of, collect your thoughts in Vlad's den. And the sun has not moved a single inch.
Oh.
Yeah. Some of you guys are a little bit more familiar with Pandora and might remember that Pandora has 90-hour day cycles. So
Yes, the days here are notoriously long.
yeah, 35 hours
And
of
hot.
days, 35 hours of night. So when we say a day, we are referring to the galactic standard measurement of time.
Not
I am-
90 hours.
Yeah. I am all for hitting up that catch a ride. I think that it's a better option.
Yeah, smart idea.
Yep.
I still
Plus
can't
just-
drive though.
Yeah, I'm not. I don't think I'd make a great driver.
I can try.
I'm proficient in land vehicles, at least. Oh, and air
That's what it
vehicles.
is,
I
yeah.
mean, space vehicles. Land and space.
Perfect. Yeah, I like
We
the
run
idea
into
of
any
being
water,
in
we're
something.
fucked.
Trust me, if you guys run into any water, you are fucked. Because I have a fear of like just like large bodies of open water, and I will 100% make sure you guys leave here with that fear. Like,
That and in the Eridium Blight, I'm assuming any type of liquid is probably not water. It's probably slag or something.
yeah.
Oh god, like the mineral ponds that form at like the top of those noble earth mines and shit. Just like poisonous, acidic ponds.
The Eridium Blight does connect to like a large body of water, and it is monstrously polluted by slag.
Fun.
And the entire Eridium Blight is called that for a reason. It is full, like it's a giant ore chasm, if you will, of iridium. And the work that Hyperion did there, like trying to refine that and producing like the byproduct slag, has like completely devastated the ecosystem. It's insane. Slag is like super toxic, like highly viscous and potent, can be expelled in a gas or sludge, like brutal.
I see there's on the map, there's a place called the Slagma Refinery and the Slagma Vapor Extraction Facility right near a place marked Weird Cult. So let's never go there. Anywhere on that side of the map.
Immediate Futurama vibes.
And all of that stuff is near Mount Hellspawn. So we're just gonna take a red Sharpie and write nope on that side of the map, and then just never ever go there.
There's no way that we'd ever find Vlad in there.
Oh no.
One of those horribly ironic, death-sounding names.
Yeah, we'll just take this quadrant of the map and just tear it, and then we'll put up in a little ball. I'll eat it, and then we'll never think about it again.
Seriously though, what would happen is we'd go to some corner of this map called like fucking Mickey Mouse Glade, and we would just get, spit roasted by horrifying animal mutants, like monsters.
Oh my goodness.
Hey,
How are
I
you
see
gonna eat
someone
part of
under-
the map if you're wearing a gas mask?
I immediately thought of that as I was saying it.
Just
Oh, yeah,
sliding it up the tube.
It's just
Spaghetti.
like a mouth just opens on the mask.
You're just gonna reduce it to a very fine paper powder and inhale it.
Let's go to
Oh,
Candy
no.
Mountain. Candy Mountain.
But brilliant. And moving through the tunnels will obviously take some time, or you guys could try to trek above ground. But you are moving through large swaths of open, rugged, rocky terrain. So, based on this map, it seems like Vlad went through the tunnels, but you guys are welcome to do what you would like.
I feel like the tunnels would probably be a safer bet, somewhat, personally, but being an agent of chaos and all, I think we should go above ground.
That
Well,
and I
this is
think it's safer with an asterisk too.
True. With like a little parentheses with a question mark.
Yeah.
I think we've already determined how hospitable this place is. The mine is no longer active though, right? It's like
No, the mine is active to a certain point by the Lava Cross gang, who they seem to make a lot of their living by mining minerals and gems and stuff, and then like using that as trade. Vlad was the only one that was particularly interested in Eridium in particular, so he moved beyond into the Eridium Blight. So the mines are active to a certain point, but are controlled by the gang, who is now at least non-hostile to you. And beyond that, it's unclear, but you guys are certainly welcome to go catch up with anybody from this and pick their brains a bit about the mines, or the terrain that goes over the mines.
oh yeah, I guess we could ask Winston what crazy cult or bullymang weird cult does grandma's house. I mean, I'm curious.
That is a historical landmark. That is the site of Handsome Jack's grandmother, where she used to live before she was murdered by Handsome Jack.
Is there anybody he did?
I would say
Nobody
his
was closely
daughter,
linked
but
with him.
technically.
Yeah, monster, skull and crossbones, 3 exclamation points. I wouldn't mind like a little insight as to what that means.
All right. Well, if you would like to move on outside, the town is, minus the one building that is now collapsed. I mean, the town's like small, but it's nice little makeshift kind of shacks around these big like the old Hyperion like mining operations that took place, like salvaging those buildings and making them into this kind of like lair for these guys. And in the back of one such building, they are in fact roasting a skag over an open fire. And parts of people are like carefully trying to like cut up the still smoldering body of the pyre thresher into like these, kind of like eel, if you will. It's chewy, it's tough. Eating a pyre thresher, think like eating like eel coated in ghost pepper.
And it's already cooked.
Ooh. Have you guys ever had roasted skag?
Yeah.
have
I wish I
had
could say that's the
real
worst
life.
thing I've tried.
I'm used to like protein jelly packs, so
Oh, they are delicious.
It depends on where that protein is grown and what it's grown from.
Yeah. So the skag looks pretty funky, having been descaled and gutted and roasting on a spit, but it actually smells pretty nice. And Winston is there, just kind of overseeing it as like what's left of his crew are kind of moving about, tending to different things.
I remember eating a lot of like roadkill skag.
Roadkill skag.
Oh yeah, they would
I mean-
still have like they would still have like all the they would still like have like all the tire marks on it and everything. There's a little bit of like a rubbery aftertaste.
As long
But
as like
So-
the antennas and
You ate
mandibles
that
haven't
raw?
fallen off, they're fresh.
no, we didn't eat it raw. I mean, no, we didn't eat it raw, but like you can still taste a little bit of the tire rubber and.
So that's the part that tastes bad, is the tire rubber.
I mean, you
Yeah.
get used to it.
Rubber on
Like
legs.
you get used to it. Just little bits and pieces.
It gives the gaminess that little extra.
Exactly.
So taking Winston up on his offer, Hobbs will try and sort of just casually body his way in near the roast to I don't know where they're serving up or it's a self-serve but to try and get himself a piece of this super appetizing looking roast, and then I want to just pester Winston with some questions about what's so goddamn dangerous in this mine that they put these pictures here.
Nice. Oh, yeah. So you walk over, and anybody he starts cutting up the skag as they begin throwing pyre thresher on the flames, and everyone starts to gather around and kind of it's like a little communal stand-up dining area as everyone just kind of mills about like some kind of backyard barbecue. And Winston is like, "Hey, well, here you are. I hope you like it. We shot it down ourselves."
Starvers can't be choosers, so we're very pleased to join you here. Just curious, because we're still going to settle our affairs with Vlad. It seems like any insights as to what all of these friendly sounding attractions are inside the mine that he's highlighted for us?
He looks at it and goes, well, Vlad had a lot of stories. He usually, well, none of us went to the Eridium Blight. We're not crazy. But he always had stories. He points to the monster, and he goes, he went on for hours one time about seeing, some kind of bullymong, but, 3 stories tall, and, had, iridium, kind of embedded in parts of his, skin, and, you could see this, he would go to that, he points to the iridium extraction plant, and he's he'd be looking around that area, and over the crust of these kind of rolling hills, you could see the looming shadow of this monster, and it was all very, cryptozoological, we never saw it with our own hands, but, saw it with our own hands, that's what, yeah. I'm still bleeding out a little here. Don't worry.
Minor talk. I won't. Oh, pardon the parlance.
But yeah. The weird cult we all know about, some crazy religion that spawned around. He points up to the sky, where even in broad daylight you could still see the emblazoned symbol of the firehawk, where the moon used to be. He goes, they worshipped this crazy siren for a while, and then the clan kind of disappeared for a little while. But then once that siren lady there, pushed the moon somewhere, now all of them are revering her as a god, and, the cult of the Firehawk, I believe is what they call it. They are...
Are they one of those? Are they one of those? We're gonna kill everybody and then ourselves kind of cults, or are they kind of more like the hey, we're weird but we're kind of chill kind of cults?
I mean, we've heard stories about like ritualistic sacrifices and stuff.
Oh boy.
You know, take that as you will.
Leaning a little towards the former. Yeah, slightly.
Yeah.
But aside from that, I
Maybe
mean,
judgmental.
all these bullymong and racks, those are kind of self-explanatory, just general wildlife. Although in the Eridium Blight, everything seems to be a little bit more fucked up. You know, being around all that slag and iridium, generations of breeding in that captivity, that kind of, you know, play like yeah, it does some weird things to nature around it.
Are any of the people in the cult, are any of them sirens, or did they just worship that one?
I couldn't tell you. I've never felt the itch to go have a chat with them. But from the stories we hear, they mainly just worship the Firehawk, that Lilith, I believe it was.
Okay. So they're more of like a we witnessed something that makes us think there's something greater going on in the universe kind of cult. Not like okay.
Yeah, I mean, ultimately she was very powerful, you know, siren, from what, you know, the history tells us, but she, moving the moon is another, a whole nother thing, and, you know, you see something like that, and, you know, now the symbol is forever emblazoned in the sky, like, you know, it's bound to create some believers, I suppose, reignite that shit, but...
So, like, does Pandora have a lot of cults very often? Because this is, like, the second one I've heard of.
It seems just about every time some siren shows up on the planet, a new cult follows. There's a lot of people in this thing, you know. I mean, the sirens are pretty, you know, they're pretty nuts, you know. They can do all this, like, crazy shit, you know, and people are able to mimic them to a degree with, like, pieces of tech and new advances and that stuff, but, I mean, they just fucking do it, and, you know, some seem to think that's godlike.
That's, like, soup's interesting. I wonder if there's, like, any psychological effects of being a siren that, like, affects the people around you, maybe? I don't know.
Even regular people with power get god complexes, so I can only imagine how screwed up a siren can get.
Yeah. Well, I believe
Valid.
it was Lilith herself that disbanded the original cult of the Firehawk. Apparently, she didn't take too kindly to being worshipped originally. But now she's not here, so...
I don't know. I think being worshipped would be cool. You like... I mean, like... You can make people do stuff, and they do it. Like...
I feel like no singular human should have
Red flags,
any
red flags.
authority or power over a mass of people like that because it could get really dangerous.
Well, I mean, if it's all consensual... I mean, if
And
it's
I
all
don't agree with her
consensual
ability to
worship, then...
Without asking.
Say that last bit again, Anthony. Sorry, you dropped out a little.
I just said, and I don't agree with her ability to just unilaterally decide when the moon gets moved. That seems, you know, selfish at best.
I feel like that had a lot to do with these echo tubers that I researched on what not to do to be an echo tuber. Technically, I think that was all their fault.
Yeah. I don't know. Sirens seem pretty terrifying. If I ever met her, I think I would just ask her why she moved the moon. If, you know, I didn't just pee my pants and faint.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fair.
And so, Winston, you guys are fixing to head to the Eridium Blight, then, I imagine.
Yes.
Yar.
Well, if you happen to catch up with old Vlad, if he's got himself caught or God knows what, you know, bringing him back, you know, that would kind of be a boon to us. Not that you owe us any favors or anything, but, you know, like, he is kind of part of the gang here, even if he is a little off.
Yeah, that's totally fair. We can do our best.
So, did anyone else have any further questions for Winston about
Yeah, the map. I asked him the significance of the V's with a circle around them.
the V's?
There's two of them. There's one to the north of us and one like to the southwest on the map. Oops.
Yeah, those were markers of like strange observed kind of vault like activity where particular pockets of radiation were pretty dense. I don't know the whole science behind it, but apparently every time you open a vault it like floods the like kind of like given area around it to a certain degree with like this like unique kinds of radiation and causes strange things to happen. Some say it was like the opening of the Great Vault that originally like unleashed the masses of iridium within the planet, and like that's when the whole like kind of like Hyperion came down and got like super into experimenting with the iridium and stuff like that. So, but they're generally marked by like some kind of like sign that has like that vault symbol on it. Like, but yeah, it does strange things to the local area. So best be at it with
You guys have a way of you have any way of tracking for that specific radiation signature, or
there was this,
that you sort of stumble across?
I mean, generally the best way for most people to tell is you start just kind of seeing kind of strange signs of things. Like psychosis tends to get a little heavier in the area, so like a lot more kind of like crazed out bandit clans kind of tend to pop up. Some creatures can be kind of mutated by it, and you know, we've heard stories about, you know, you think that thresher was big. We've heard stories about like a thresher that's like twice its size at the very least. It can like do all, you know, and there's legends of this like huge ass like stalker that like some savage tribe kept as like a god. Yeah, like crazy shit. Like things happen around these places like weird. But as far as picking up the actual radiation, there was this lady that used to be around here. It was Tanis, Dr. Tanis. She was really heavy into studying the vaults and all of that alien stuff. So she would probably have some way of doing that. But to most of us, the naked eye, you start seeing like little like, you know, larger than average plant life, super aggressive animals, like a lot of like kind of crazed out, you know, bandit clans and stuff. You know, not that we're saying, you know, most bandit clans are kind of, you know, a little crazed. You got to be a little crazy to live on Pandora, but you know, they're a little more out there.
Does this Tanis person hang out near those sites? Does she live on Pandora?
You know, I don't know. We haven't heard anything about Tanis in a while. I mean, she does operate off Pandora periodically. Pandora has several of these vaults, apparently more than a lot of other planets, so it's Tanis kind of comes back frequently here and there, but she's also traveling off. She's wrote like a few books and like working on different new tech. She's kind of the front runner of like that harpy tech, the tech people use to kind of recreate the powers of the sirens. It's like the next wave of ultra militarized combat is like manufacturing sirens.
Oh, that sounds terrifying.
Concerning.
Sounds like an obscene amount of work.
I don't think Tanis is directly involved in the weaponization of that, but I do think she had a hand in creating some of the tech. But you can't just turn anybody into a harpy. Like it's got to be, they got to have like some ability to interact with that iridium stuff. Like it's got to be innate in a person. So 1 out of every 1,000 people like are sensitive to iridium.
Boy, that bird is far away.
But yeah, and Winston also goes on to tell you guys a little bit about the mines, about how like for like the, you know, they've dug like a few miles into the like various caverns in search of like these gems and stuff. But beyond that, there's kind of just like a huge network of different caverns and tunnels, and as mentioned before, there are underground lava channels that kind of like feed out and into the around the like the closer you get to the Eridium Blight that has that massive volcano that's always like spewing smoke. So lava channels are pretty common throughout Sawtooth Cauldron and the Eridium Blight. But above ground is you know, you got to be careful for all the wildlife in the tunnels. There's, you know, some of these creatures, you know, burrow into the ground too. But above ground, you know, you got the threshers and the racks, and there's some stalkers kicking around, less so as the more you get to the Eridium Blight. Bandit clans too, you'll find those, you know, scattered around in, you know, some kind of steep peaks and like little like kind of rocky mountainous ranges. But you know, it's either way's hard. Probably take a little bit longer going over the ground than through the tunnels, because you know, you just cut straight through the earth. But whereas going like up and down. But yeah, that's what he's able to kind of expound upon that a little bit. Says it should take about a day, like a standard galactic day, to get through the mines, or you know, 2 or 3 days over the terrain above.
Unless we have a vehicle. Because I think like on foot through the mines or in a vehicle on above ground is the way to go.
Yeah, I would say the closest catch ride is there's a clan. It's a little out of the way. It's more towards the west than the north here, but there is a clan that I think has a functioning catch ride, but they're not always super friendly.
It's not an instance where you can just say, "Oh, Winston sent us," and they'll be just okie dokie with us taking a vehicle.
I mean, if we gotta punch our way through, then we'll punch our way through.
I mean, we've done some light trading with them, but it's run.
What do they trade for?
How about this? How about first beat? How about we ask politely first, and if they say no, then we punch.
Plan P.
Look at you
It is
learning
more
how to use your words. Good job.
But yeah, we trade. We usually get some like minerals and like stones and stuff that we find in the mines, and those usually make pretty good trading. And also, you know, we hunt around up here, so sometimes it's pelts and meats and that kind of stuff. But I mean, we've done some trading. The leader is a guy named Horley, I believe it was. Kind of a big dude. Bad temper on him, but he's he does kind of have a fascination with kind of jewels and gems and whatnot. So he kind of gives us a pass. You see, oh man, when you see him, he's bedazzled as fuck.
Oh, I like
trade them-
bedazzling.
You trade emeralds to these guys? Do they walk around going,
You know, I think I have heard some of that before. Yeah, kind of weird. Yeah, big noses. Big noses.
That's why I was grinning like an idiot. As soon as he said emeralds, like all I could think is a bunch of villagers.
Yeah.
Fucking Minecraft.
Villagers.
Those guys are like scam artists, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds like old Horley too. But he's like,
Oh,
oh,
you want some wool to make a bed? Hey, give me 8 emeralds. Fast forward to 30 seconds later, I burnt down the village. There's your fucking emeralds, and I just stole your bed. I don't need your stupid wool.
But awesome. So you guys are you taking a short rest or a long rest here?
Oh, I'm at least taking a short rest. I'm assuming we'll be here for at least an hour. I'm definitely gonna do that,
Yeah.
regardless of if we do a long one or not.
I mean, I definitely need all rest. Definitely.
I can only recover my inspo die by taking a
can. I
long
think I
rest, I
used-
think, so...
Gonna say I used once per day, or are they my actual spells? Yeah, no. So I used my 2 first level spell slots in that cannonballing that firm. So short rest is good. A long rest will get me back some additional stuff, but I am not hurting in terms of my health. I think I would be recovered pretty sufficiently if I could just catch my wind.
Well, I'm hurting a bit.
The longer recuperative period.
I feel like that would probably be the smart move.
We did
All
just
right,
try
well,
to.
if Vlad is dead, he's dead, so we'll get there when we get there. If his friends hadn't shot at us, I mean, we'd be that much faster, but...
Yeah, and you were given like a week's worth of like rations by Huami on the ship.
Whammy.
Let's not go in half-cocked then. Let's...
All right. So you guys chill out for a few hours, like eating amongst these guys, and you know, even though a lot of people have just died in like a massive thresher attack, and like, you know, former enemies or, you know, become allies, that kind of atmosphere, it's still pretty lively. Like, you know, these guys, they work hard, they party hard. But eventually you're able to kind of like just chill out. Like Tegan, like you flat out like conk out from all the excitement of today, and like are able to recuperate. Everyone else just kind of like lightly rests or you know, chills out for a little bit. Still, even after, you know, a solid 8 hours pass, the sun is now like in like the afternoon position ish. It's moved just like from like high noon to like 3 o'clock.
Excellent.
And while you guys recover, I'm just gonna go light myself a new coal. I'll be right back in just a sec. If anyone else has to go to the bathroom or whatever, hit it now, and I'll be right back.
Oh, yes.
I'm surprised I haven't needed to go to the bathroom yet.
What? I get my gunzerking back after short rests?
Oh, well, shit.
Damn.
There you go.
Yeah. Might need to gunzerk more often.
Fuck yeah. Come on. Snap into place. There we go. Oops.
And but of course I had to entice you guys with some weird things on this map, because you never know. yeah, you gotta go do the mission, but there's also like there's monsters and cults,
Yeah.
like, treasures,
And it's like if this were a video game, I'd be like, oh, I need to visit all these places.
We gotta collect all the things.
I know, and I was thinking about like spikes in like volt radiation that causes enhancements to like psychosis. I was like, ooh, bringing Tegan to one of those places is either a good idea or a very, very, very bad idea.
Hmm.
it certainly could be fun.
Because I mean, that might be what seeking the noise is. But that's why Fidget doesn't say that out loud. Like Fidget thought that, but didn't say it out loud because it's like that's either a good idea or a very bad idea. It'll either jumpstart or it'll kickstart whatever the fuck your other you is going for, or it's gonna make the other you take control, which might be disastrous. So I don't know. Fidget's keeping that one to himself for now because that's scary.
All of a sudden, Tegan like bursts into flames and turns around like and starts attacking everyone in the party.
Yeah. Oh, oops. I just clicked my mouse
Rip the
has
flesh. Salt the wounds.
You're my favorite meat bicycle.
kind of see them. These buttons on the side.
Oh yeah.
So like, you can use your thumb. The thing is, the thumb on my right hand is fucking useless now, so these buttons don't do anything for me on purpose. But they still do shit by accident when I hit them, and by default, 2 of them are forward and back if you have a browser open, and I have not figured out a way to make them not do that. And I hit them all the time, and it sucks. It especially likes to do it when I'm in roll 20. That's very frustrating.
I have like a little wheel of buttons on the side of my mouse, and whenever I'm watching something on YouTube, it just like my thumb will just instantly jerk and hit one of the buttons, and then I have to find my place again because it'll skip.
Yep.
I'm just like, the fuck?
For if I'm using my mouse right-handed, it's like an involuntary twitch or something will do it. And if I'm like tonight using my left hand, it's just this finger is now resting where my thumb would be, but not in the same way a thumb would be resting there. So it's way too easy to accidentally hit those buttons, and it drives me fucking nuts.
Right.
I need to get some simple mouse that just has 2 buttons, and then just use that from now on.
Before we get back into it, Antsy, look.
What?
Give it a second to adjust.
Oh.
Yeah, it's a D20 with the pan flag.
Hell yeah.
So like, is it like a magnet or
It's a sticker.
a
I haven't
sticker?
figured out where I want to put it yet.
I was like, it's something shiny. It's got that gloss to it. I was like, it's got to be a sticker or a magnet. That's what it'll do. Nice.
Hey.
It's usually, if I have an unstickered laptop, the first one typically goes in the center, which like on this one is, let me not drop all my stuff sitting on my laptop directly on the floor. That'd be nice. This might be disorienting for anyone looking at my screen because I'm about to pick my laptop up. Oh, it's a sticker of Ralph from Jetpack Comics.
Nice.
That must have been the first sticker I got after I bought this.
I could put my stickers on the side of my computer case.
I was doing that until I realized I can't see it. The way my computer's set up, I can't see any of them. So, it was fun to do at first. On my old, the fuck do you call that?
Desktop?
my old PC desk. I was like, the thing a desktop you usually use is called a desk. Yeah, I'm a quick one. Yeah, my old desk had an open side, so the tower you'd see all the stickers on it. But the one I use now, it's enclosed. So
fair.
So now I just doubled down on how many stickers I put on my laptop, and now you can't see any of what the original laptop case was underneath, basically.
Nice.
Yeah. Alright, so you guys have had your rest, your hit points are back up, you've got your tech slots back in action.
Yeah.
It's still daylight out, and it will be for more hours to come, followed by intense night for a while. Several galactic days of night.
A lot.
But yeah, it is just up to you guys whether or not we're traversing through the Lava Gang tunnels, or if you're moving over Bandit Incorporated territory.
Bandit Incorporated. Oh, jeez. Incorporated. Nice.
Well, whatever involves the most punching.
I was gonna say Bandit Incorporated territory was the emerald trading, slightly unhospitable dudes near the catch a ride. Yeah.
Now, if you wanted to try to catch a ride, take you like through some of Sawtooth into the Eridium Blights, then yeah, that would probably be your best bet. That's the only one you're aware of anyway. That's the only one Winston's aware of in the local area. Because it is like a lot of these places live in like these, a lot of these bandit clans are like in these crags or gullies where like the rocky hills kind of like bottom out and form like a small kind of wetland almost. Or up in the mountains, like the Lava Cross gang being more into like the mining areas, but still kind of surrounded by these rocky things. So you'll kind of have to like scoot out to get to the Eridium Blight from Sawtooth. But there is a road that kind of sort of goes through it.
Yeah,
so after the Thresher experience, I think Hobbs would be averse to the lava tubes.
Valid.
Yeah, what Fidget points out in the morning is on the map, he goes, it looks like terrain-wise, the easiest way to go would be on that road, but that loops by where the monsters with the exclamation points are, and comes pretty close to where that cult territory, but it looks like, assuming the roads are intact, that'd be the easiest way to go. Least likely for us to ending up in a ditch somewhere.
I feel like that makes sense. I trust your judgment.
Keep in mind, it will be, to get to the catch a ride, will take several hours, and then to drive to the Eridium Blight, would be several more hours. So you would be shaving time down instead of like an entire 24-hour cycle trying to get through the mines. But you still have to traverse through what's left of the Sawtooth Cauldron before you get to the Eridium Blight.
Yeah, and Fidget just says, I'm voting for the vehicle just because I like the idea of being in something protected.
Saying Sawtooth.
Say that again. Sorry, Anthony.
Oh, I didn't say anything.
Oh,
It's just my microphone being sensitive.
Okay. So we got one vote for going above ground, or 2 votes going above ground. So is everyone settled on not being within the tunnels?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, I think above ground's smart.
I like being above ground.
All right. Well, just for the fuck of it, I'm going to show you guys one thing real quick here, since we're not going to be needing it. Boop. So I'm going to go ahead and
Until we're forced underground.
I'm going to go ahead and throw this battle map away. But
Good lord.
this could have been one possible encounter you guys could have overcome, is how to traverse through this lava field.
Yeah.
Oh, fun.
Oh,
Okay.
boy.
When you say lava tube, you don't think lava tube, but they're tubes full of fucking lava, huh? Oh.
So I at least wanted to show that off. But
Great
I
work,
was thinking
Dave.
lava tube like Dr. Evil, hideout or
Magma.
Freaking sharks with freaking lasers attached to their freaking heads.
But yeah, brilliant. All right, so you guys are all set to go. Anything left we need to take care of in Ditchwater before you start moving on out?
As we set out, the last thing Fidget does is activate a stalwart last stand. Before we actually start heading towards the catch ride.
Fantastic. All right, so awesome. Unless anybody else has anything, we begin to.
Oh, that's a clever idea. Yeah, I will also use. Sorry, where is it? Once per. Yeah, so I'm going to. Wait, is it? No, actually, I'm not going to do that. Never mind. I lied. I thought it was a once per day, but it's one of my spell slots. It's probably not pertinent yet.
All right, cool. So Winston, he's like, all right, guys. Well, I'd like to say it was nice meeting you, but honestly, yeah. So go on
We get that
out.
thought too.
There.
Go on out that
Come
way.
on, we're not so bad until you get to know us.
Now, I mean, you're a hell of a lot tougher than most people that wander through here. I'll give you that much. Most
We get that a lot too.
Most people we
Yeah.
tell them drop their shit, and they drop their shit. But
My sage advice for you, man, is when people tell you who they are, listen.
heard loud and clear.
I'm sure we all learned very special lessons today.
I'm sure I didn't learn anything today.
It's a very special episode.
Except
I
for what
learned
Thresher was, which
higher
was
threshers
fucking
are
not special at
terrible.
all.
Also, so looking in the safe to collect the iridium salt, you find like large, like basically like bricks of this shit. And it's up to you if you're leaving it there to come collect it again later, or if you're taking it with you.
We should probably take it with us.
No, let's probably take it. Are there any side effects to carrying iridium salts around with us?
Generally, as long as you don't imbibe it in any fashion. Being injecting, snorting, rubbing it on your skin, getting it wet.
Not impossible
Okay.
to do by accident is sort of more. Yeah, no, I just not that Win and his friends don't seem just above reproach in every sense of the word, but I don't fucking trust them with the drugs, so I feel like we should take them.
What happens when they get wet? What happens when they get wet?
Oh, it can kind of like dissolve.
You ever read that story about the person that tried to hide the LSD in their sock when they went through the TSA? They just, it just soaked in through their sweaty foot, and then they got so high they thought they were a glass of orange juice, and were scared people would tip them over.
Oh,
What's the TSA?
the assholes at the airport.
I'm in character, guys.
Oh.
Stop breaking that wall!
Stop breaking the fourth wall.
But brilliant. Winston points you down like a kind of rocky path that leads through some of these like jutting up peaks and crags that kind of like, this like path that kind of weaves and winds its way through. And it is going to take a couple hours to traverse this thing, so we are going to initiate a bit of a group skill challenge for this.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Yeah. So basically, as we begin to traverse some of the more treacherous, peaks where it's very easy to drop in, bash off mini rocks, slide, falling down into these kind of deep crevices, or the likes of various other obstacles that kind of come with this intense Rocky Mountain hiking, if you will. So basically, if anybody can justifiably use a skill, which means if you have a skill that you want to use, as long as you can explain in some way how it becomes useful in a situation, then I will allow you to roll for that. This skill challenge, it will take 4 successes to pass through this section of terrain. They do not have to be consecutive, but whenever there is a failure, a consequence may apply. So it's all about who wants to take lead and go first.
I might have something for this.
I am bummed that.
Ooh, if it isn't the consequences of my own actions.
I am bummed that Max can't be here for this, because this is very much like a Matt Mercer thing.
She's probably be in the lead.
But yeah, whoever wants to take the lead, and so in this initial section, you are navigating tiny pathways, walking through highs and lows of these kind of heavy rocky textures, and just kind of climbing up it in certain areas, and having to strategically slide other areas, and then trying to tightrope walk around small ledges that have relatively high drop-offs. So yeah.
I think it's you or me, Tegan. I got a decent balance of dex and strength here, so hopefully catwalk it.
I don't have. I got a small amount of dex, but a lot of strength. So if anybody falls, I could catch them.
Yeah, I mean, not super high perception-wise, but I guess unless there's a reason not to, I think Hobbs will probably take the lead then. Sounds like there could be some narrows and stuff, and I don't necessarily want Tegan to either get stuck or be blind or have other people blind because she takes up the whole frame.
All right, fantastic. So you will take the lead of this first leg of the journey, and what skill do you want to try to use to help navigate this?
Just over terrain? Is that where we're just
Yeah,
rocky and narrow things like you described?
Yeah, the premise of this challenge is you can use things like acrobatics or athletics to kind of help the group kind of maneuver through these tight, or you can use things
my intention would be athletics then, as opposed to just standard strength.
Okay.
I have one other thing that's called Sixth Sense, but I think it's very specific to places where battle took place. So
yeah, it allows you
have to double check it, but
yeah, it allows you to get special insights when examining kind of
right
the before.
I told Aragorn was looking for the hobbits at the edge of the Barrow and Woods or whatever.
I will say also in this, like things like perception, nature, survival, even like things like insight can help you like possibly navigate better paths. So if you wanted to use like some skill in that respect, it certainly has a place in this as well.
That's what I was thinking. I'm
Unless
pretty decent at nature. I'm trying to, like, any way to finagle using tech would be that. I'd be finagling it like really hard. It'd be like me pleading a case to use it. So like
And that's
my
fine too.
thought was to use nature.
If you can reasonably find a way that it would make any difference in a given situation,
Yeah.
then that's all
I mean, it would be something I'd have to really friggin' lawyer it. That's why I was thinking the easier thing to do might be to go with nature, because I'm pretty good at that, and it's a lot easier to just say, hey, I use nature to try to find, to look out for dangers in the terrain.
but you
use it
could
like,
you could also make like a tech check to like tactically like blow up an obstacle blocking a path, or you could use tech to like try to bridge a gap, using some makeshift something.
That's what I-
can I
Because
persuade the path to take it easy on us?
You can
'Cause
try, yes.
I have the microbots utility, which, it's kind of like Mage Hand, but I have the microbots utility, but I also have Rogue. So I was thinking, like, use the microbots utility to, like, when we need a rope somewhere, instead of, like, trying to, like, grapple hook it, I just have them form, like, a hand-shaped hook that just kind of breaks the rope up and attaches it for me
Yep,
to places. And then that way I could use a tech check.
I like that. too.
Cool.
So, but we've already said, Hobbs, you're taking the lead, so choose your skill and make a roll. And tell
Alright,
me,
I will
tell
go
me how
with-
you're using your athletics. Alright, so what do you want to try to like do
Yeah.
with this as you're like,
So, essentially, I've had to get away in a hurry any number of times, so I've just got, a knack for sneaking out and making my way through a kind of a tricky exit. So I'm just going to kind of look through the crags and crevices and the rough terrain here for kind of the path of least resistance, something that I don't want it to require a ton of athleticism, because I don't want it to be prohibitive for the other people here if they're not really athletic, but I want to use that athletic acumen to sort of determine what works best for everyone.
awesome.
And I've got that almost took a really bad roll. So that's an 11.
All right. So you're like, we'll say, you walk like 50 feet ahead of everybody, kind of feeling out the path and like, making sure like it's not too like treacherous, and everyone makes it, like kind of follows you, makes it through for a good portion of it. Like, we're like an hour and a half in, and then I need, actually, Hobbs, you, to make a dexterity saving throw. As you go and you step on a piece of rock that looks sturdy enough and it gives under your foot.
Where are my saves? Okay, that is a 6.
All right. The rock gives and it takes your whole leg with you, and you begin to slide down with this big, like, side of like this peak that you're traversing, like sliding, just bumping up over rocks. But you do manage. You like grab yourself on like one rock and like hanging on, like pretty much at this point dangling over a very large ledge. Everybody else, what are you doing as you see Hobbs begin to slide?
It's the meat grinder all over again. No.
Is he like reachable?
You can certainly run up and try to grab him. So Tegan,
Like,
yep.
yeah, like where he's hanging from, like, am I able to like reach him at all? Like,
Maybe I could extend my gun, like my indicator. I don't know if I'd have 2 hands free, but if I can like dangle with one hand and reach it out, that'd give me like 2 feet.
I would say yes. With Tegan, you give me an athletics check as you try to prevent yourself from sliding down. Well, and you can do it with advantage as Hobbs like tries to extend his reach as far as he can.
okay, so that is a 17.
Nice.
Yeah.
That was with advantage too?
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, with the 17, you grab hold of the gun, and we'll say, like, Hobbs, like, you still have it kind of, like, shoulder strapped around you, if you will, to kind of help make, like, a pulley system. And Tegan, you begin pulling him up. You manage to kind of get your feet back on the earth and begin to kind of, like, scramble up. And go ahead and both of you make an athletics check.
So that is an 11.
I got an 11 too.
All right. You managed to get like Tegan. Sorry,
Idiocracy!
Tegan, you managed to get Hobbs like pretty much like most of the way up. When you feel your foot begin to slide, just a little. Like you're both still like you're both still holding on, but your grip is suddenly lessening. Anybody else moving as this Tegan just like full blown sprinted up, grabbed Hobbs to like try to save Hobbs from falling off like the slide down to like the edge of this cliff.
I guess Kimmy's gonna run up and try to grab Tegan.
Yeah, like Fidget looks at Kimmy like, what do we do?
Okay. You run up, moving along this kind of now as we see precarious ledge, and grab hold of Tegan, who's in turn holding on to Hobbs. Go ahead and make an athletics check.
18.
I'll grab Tegan too.
All right. Go ahead and make an athletics check as well.
I got a 1. Not a nat 1.
Okay. So you come and like grab hold of the back of like Kimmy's jacket,
No help.
like Kimmy's vest, and like try to pull with all of your might. Kimmy, you grab Tegan like by like around like bear hug style by the waist, and just like use all of the muscles in your leg to like basically German suplex Tegan, bringing Hobbs up. And
on top of me.
yeah, a giant pig pile on this precarious cliff edge.
Sorry,
It's okay. I know. Sorry, broke you a little.
it's a fidget flapjack.
All right. I will say everyone takes 2 points of bludgeoning damage, which are shields mostly. You know, shields just kind of. But yeah, awesome. As you guys right yourself up, you are now standing on like this cliff edge that overlooks, and you can see the wild rocky terrain, and you can see deep in the distance the ground starts to turn from like this kind of like brownish rocks and like kind of like green kind of swampy, you know, depths into this more ashen gray and eventually more purple, as you can see in the distance the volcano roiling, spewing black smoke into the air.
What is it that's below us that Hobbs would have fallen down into?
It looks like it was just like a solid drop into more spiky rocks.
Okay. I mean,
Your classic
Alright.
chasm.
Yeah.
yeah. A bad day, but not like a slag break. Okay.
No, just to die like a hiker rather than a space mercenary.
Yeah.
yeah.
But you see the path like winds back, like kind of snakes around, and you can see like that precarious kind of ledge following down into more of like this almost like a highlands-ish. Like there's a bit more grass forming around like these like pointy rocks that kind of like jut from the ground. Just like the terrain is just like chopped up. You know, it's gonna be like you put one foot on this rock that's kind of moving at a diagonal, and then you use that to like get to the next rock, kind of like that kind of feel moving about these like little pits and crevices. And a bit of water as well in this area. And before you start moving beyond the peaks, you can see the outline of the town, like miles in the distance. Just the kind of feature of like buildings in a general kind of flattened out area. But you lose sight of the town as you move downwards. So as we move downwards into this more precarious rocky aspects, who's going next? As you move into this area where there are not giant peaks and like terrifying drops into valleys. Instead, this is a large, like rocky land coated in like kind of this wet, mossy grass.
Ooh. All right. Yeah. I'll go next because I already know what skill I want to use. So Fidget will use like various just like ordnance techs and stuff to like test out the ground ahead of us before we step on it.
Awesome.
To make sure there's not any of those little things where our feet will go through it or anything.
Oh, awesome. So yeah, like the nanobot ordnance or microbot ordnance, where you can just send these little robots to kind of express.
Yeah. So an 18.
Nice. You guys are able to maneuver through this, narrowly avoiding these. I can't think of what they're actually called. They have them in like the Highland Wars, where it just looks like grass, and then you just drop into murky water.
Yeah.
You manage to like avoid these like pockets of like this floating grass on these lands. You avoid getting your feet caught in these crevices that can like easily break ankles. And you're able to maneuver through this rocky terrain until you begin to come to a large gully-ish kind of. It's like a grassy kind of wetlands. It like plateaus out where grass has begun to like form pretty prominently, and there's a large wall that's been constructed, almost kind of like like a dam, but with not holding water back in this respect. It's just big infrastructure, but approaching it just looks like a giant wall that must have been installed by Hyperion at one point or another. And you see before you is just grass in like pockets of like where rainwater and streams have begun to collect, and it's just soggy and murky. Who wants to handle this leg of the journey as we move beyond the rocks to this grassy wetlands? It has now been, upwards to like 5 hours on foot as you like carefully trying to navigate these like treacherous terrains.
I'll do it.
All right, and what are you going to try to use to discern this area?
I was planning on using acrobatics.
All right, go ahead and make a acrobatics.
Sorry, you guys are gonna get a face full of forehead for a second.
I've been doing it all night.
That's a nat 20. What's up? Yes.
Nice. So nobody suffers any issues as you deftly navigate this area, trying your best to stay out of like this kind of like more waterlogged areas. And Kimmy, your experience previously now fighting that pyre thresher comes in very handy, as you're able to avoid any attracting noise that may draw any nearby wildlife to this area.
Oh, thank God.
Yes, and using your deft, like, kind of, like, natural, like, nimbleness that you possess, like, you're able to kind of, like, dodge, hold when you hear, like, a certain faint noise, or you see, like a small thresher off in the distance before he, like, back into the ground and moves on. And then you're able to, like, gracefully kind of stealth your way through in the areas. And, yes, and you come to a giant... You come to this giant wall, and to the right of it are more of this like kind of rocky range that kind of like loops around, and to the left of it looks like it's some kind of dirt road. Are you going to try to climb up and around to get like a better vantage point, or are you going to start walking around the wall and following this road?
Like maybe
It's a good
one of us
question.
should. Yeah, I think one of us should, just to get like a scouting point.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that there's a road of any sort leads me to believe that someone pays attention to it, or it is an area of interest. So yeah, I don't know that we want to be walking down it conspicuously in the middle of open terrain without giving it a look.
Yeah.
That's true.
Well, I don't have any tech to help me with it, and I'm terrible at climbing, so I do not move myself.
Yeah, same.
So far, the only
I can either climb it, or I can help somebody get up on it.
Or like in the last session, just jump straight the fuck up. To the top.
Yeah, right.
True.
Jump.
Just Hulk jump.
I could just probably throw Fidget.
Fastball.
How's he get back down?
Yeah, just fastball him right on top of the wall there.
I mean, speaking of badass moments and rolling a nat 20, the reason I was giggling like a moron is I a minute ago, as I was imagining Kimmy like very gracefully going across this thing and being like, just follow me, and the three of us just famously not dexterous characters watching her and going, yeah, it's just that easy.
Also, Kimmy, don't forget to take a badass token.
Oh yeah, I just wrote it down.
Okay.
Just like, all those years of yoga really paid off.
Awesome. So
Wait, you're that nimble because you eat yogurt? Wait, what?
I'll show you when we get
Well,
to
yeah,
the ship.
that's the same letters. Does that
Mhm.
make me any better at this?
That never occurred to me till just now.
All right, so Tegan, do you want to? Are you legitimately going to try to throw a Fidget, or are you going to try to climb up onto this kind of bigger ledge?
I mean, I guess it depends on what Fidget thinks. Like,
is it something feasible, or is that like just?
I will say from a game mechanics, it will be a very high DC. Because
Me, the player, I'm for it, but like Fidget would be terrifying.
it is about 30-foot straight up wall. So while it is possible for someone of Tegan's immense strength to throw a tink such as Fidget that far, it will be very difficult, and it also will require most likely a dex saving throw from Fidget once he reaches maximum altitude.
Mechanically, this would be
Okay, maybe I'll just try. Maybe I'll just try to climb it.
All right, go ahead and give me an athletics check, Tegan.
That is a 15.
A 15. All right, awesome. With a 15, yeah, you're able to like. It takes a minute, but you kind of use some of these rocks to like climb up, and then once you get to like a solid space on like these little rocky ledges that come over on the right of this like large wall, you're able to just like jump the last 10 feet and just like land on top of the wall. From there, you're able to like affix like a rope to help guide these guys as they begin their trek slowly, hand over hand, climbing up this side of this wall. And you find
I made a rope out of my armpit hair.
That was the first thing. As soon as you started saying I made a rope, that's what jumped into my head. Awesome.
So you all find yourselves up on the top of this large wall that looks down into what appears to be an old, kind of sort of abandoned Hyperion installation. So you look down over this wall and you see like a lot of like old shipping containers, some like large-ish buildings that are like stone and steel, like dotted about the area, and old dilapidated equipment that looks like it hasn't been utilized in years. But yeah, you're 30 feet up on this wall, and around the like moving along the wall there is like a staircase that like kind of descends, so like guards could kind of come up and walk the perimeter of this a high wall around this this installation. So we have had 3 successes so far. The last hurdle, or potentially the last hurdle that lies before you, is this Hyperion installation, getting down into it. What does anybody want to do as we begin to move through it? Because this is uncharted territory as far as like this isn't just like nature and stuff that people have encountered through one reason or another. This is a form of militarized installation that who knows what might appear in such an area.
It's Hyperion. It's Hyperion. What could possibly go wrong?
Like another time, it would be useful to
Famous
have
last words.
sneaking around.
But we've all had a chance to go now, so I will allow anybody that wants to take the reins on this. We've had 3 successes and 1 failure so far. If you want a redemption, Anthony, you certainly may. Hobbs may definitely jump in.
Yeah, I may as well. Yeah, like I said, it might be a good time for a duck roll, but in lieu of...
I can certainly roll for duck as well, if that's what we want to do. But
So I was thinking, like, stealth. Like, I'm just going to sneak down to the bottom of the stairs and, like, peer around the nearby corners or quarters to see that it's quiet and at least we can, like, get down off the wall and into the installation together.
All right, awesome. So you move your way, you begin kind of moving down these steps and like kind of positioning yourself like behind one of these like empty shipping containers as you begin to scope out the area.
Oh, that's pretty good. That's a 15 is 18.
Nice. That is a success. As you poke your head out and you see these Digistruct terminals that appear to still be functional. Even though there are no personnel or robotics in this area that you can see, it appears like they may have some perimeter access to them as well. So keeping a wide berth from these, you also see a few Hyperion turrets that are still like sluggishly moving, but still seem to be swiveling in like a rusted out kind of manner, but still functional even in this, even though it's been years since anybody looks like they've set foot on this. But you're able to use the shipping containers to your benefit as you kind of stealth your way around, like moving like 30 feet ahead of the group, and then be like, hold, and then like, and waving them on it. You guys managed to make it to the edge of this Hyperion facility. And stepping out through that onto this, you know, where you see like the dirt road kind of winding off in the distance, the dirt road eventually leads to what appears to be the entrance of this bandit camp. That Winston had talked about.
Are we now behind it because we went over the wall and that's looking back down the road, or are you saying the same dirt road continues until it gets to the camp?
Moving beyond the installation, like you're not on the road, but the road still runs kind of adjacent, winding down this path into a bridge that kind of like crosses over this river, that then leads to this clearing where that bandit camp had set foot in. So you're still kind of out in the open, but more in like this kind of like rocky, hilly kind of wetlands. So not out in the open, but the bandit camp is still in front of you as the road like tears, like off winding down and around.
Do we want to sneak into the camp, or do we want to stroll in and parlay? I don't know.
Stroll in and say hi.
As you make your way,
I mean,
like,
what? They're not out anything. Use a catch a ride, right? It's no skin off their back, unless Tegan flays them.
Yeah.
Awesome, but as you guys make your way just little by little, like a little bit closer to kind of get a visual on it, you see it's like a stilt town, if you will. Like it's all these buildings that are kind of raised up off like the kind of soggy like wetland of it. Lots of like makeshift like welded and hammered shacks that are kind of like built on these kind of longer stilts. And you do see like a very active presence to these people. It is like not a small clan like Ditchwater was, but this is like a full-blown bandit camp. Like easily within sight, a dozen, 2 dozen people walking around, maybe more, tucked away inside some of these various like ramshackle shacks and buildings.
There's no indication where exactly the catch a ride station is in this camp, or
if anybody wants to make a perception check from this range, unless you want to get closer, it will be with disadvantage unless somebody has a scope or binoculars or something of that nature that they can use to see further.
I'm also curious, just a general information question, but what size-wise, and if they're still functioning, and like the Hyperion Digistruct terminals that are left behind, what can those Digistruct, or what were they intended to
You can give me a
make?
You can give me a tech check or a history check.
Yeah, those are both gonna go bad. All right, let's try history. Oh, well, so 17 minus 1, so 16.
Based on like what you can remember hearing about like the old Hyperion like invasion of Pandora, these Digistruct terminals were used to put Digistruct terminals were used to put loaders directly. Digistruct loader bots, the central like mechanized operating force of Hyperion, directly onto the field. Loaders are great for construction purposes, as they are just like these kind of like beefy tanky robots. But every single loader is also programmed with like a defense initiative, where it is like programmed to use. Some are programmed to use firearms, others are programmed to use grenades, some use specially modified equipment and weapons to like perform terrible acts of violence when activated. But yeah, so you have a feeling that if you had crossed a little too close to one of these and it had become activated, it probably would have digistructed some loaders directly onto the field.
Well, so what Hobbs was gonna do or say here is he's gonna turn to Fidget and just say, is there any way you could fuck around with those Digistruct terminals to send a wave of glitchy loaders into this bandit camp? Maybe stir up some shit while we find our way to the catch a ride?
I love that idea.
Oh my god.
Can I? Let's see.
Did not consider that, but it's 100%.
I did not consider that this camp would have like a town in it. I was picturing sand people, but they're back and in more numbers and greater numbers.
So yeah, because I was thinking like it might be a good idea to try walking up to them out in the open, because if we try to sneak in, we'll probably end up fighting him anyway. I do kind of like the loader idea there too.
So the only thing I think, if
At
we
the end of the
approach
day,
them
they're
directly,
fucking bandits. Fuck them.
well, but that's my concern though, is if we approach them directly as the whole group and they can just see us all and they outnumber us so substantially and know the area, like I don't want to get surrounded and or outnumbered. So like either I say we send in a negotiator, Fifth Element style, or we sneak the fuck around.
I'll negotiate.
My vote for negotiator. It's gonna turn on its ass anyway.
Psycho to psycho. Well, we got two promising ideas, like send the punchy one to do her thing, or digistruct a bunch of loaders and see what happens.
On one hand, like, I like diplomacy, but on the other hand, I want to see what happens.
I know.
I also don't have much to give them, like,
On top,
other than shit that I don't want to part with. So
Yeah.
on top
Kimmy has
of
a fancy suit.
yes, and on top of Fidget's innate tech knowledge, Kimmy's also very tech savvy as well, and especially when it comes to digistruct stuff.
That's true.
well, it's irrelevant.
I'm just saying, like, Kimmy, even if you're not proficient in the tech skill, like, your knowledge of digistruct systems, and especially that tinkering you've done with your action skill, will be beneficial to, say, possibly give advantage to a roll to do something with this digistruct pull.
Oh ho ho. Now I'm super interested.
Just from a logical standpoint, we have two characters that sufficiently understand this technology.
Yeah. Does anyone have a scope? Weapons are not scoped.
No.
Scope.
I thought I had binoculars. I do not.
I'm not especially perceptive, but I'd like to see if I can spot the.
Yeah. We need to try
Vehicle
to,
station.
especially if we're going to do the loader thing, we're going to want to know where that station is, because getting to that during the mayhem is going to be the key component to that plan.
That's true.
Awesome.
Alternative is we find a cooperator, willing or unwilling, but we select somebody amidst the mayhem or on the outskirts of this camp to be our involuntary tour guide.
Well, to start, if either Hobbs and Fidget, you can both make perception checks, or one of you can do it with advantage.
It's all you, buddy.
My perception is garbage.
Oh, really? Okay. I
Yeah.
mean, mine is nothing special, but it's not garbage. It's in the positives.
Yeah, I think
so-
you making one roll with the disadvantage canceled would be a better bet than us both making disadvantaged perception checks.
You're just gonna be helpful in this case. Okay, that's way better. So that's a 16.
16? Nice.
Oh, that was gonna be bad without the advantage.
Looking down like this area, like it's a little hard to spot, but you kind of like follow your eye follows the road into the camp, and you see the road stops as like the packed earth gives way to like this like where the ground has been soaking in this water and has become like very like that mossy kind of squishy terrain, so the road can't go any further. So you have to surmise in that regard that the digistruct system has to be closer to the entrance than it is like further away. So when this road stops, it's gotta be right in that area. Otherwise, like when they destructed like a light runner onto this thing, it would just like get into the
Sink.
muck.
Cool. I'm gonna pass that reconnaissance along to the others.
So you don't have a direct eye on it, but logic only dictates that this is probably somewhere within like the first like 20 feet of walking into like this entrance of this bandit camp, which has like some makeshift like palisade, or not palisades, but like pikes, like
Pontoons or
yeah, just kind of like makeshift barrier kind of outlining where their clan resides. Big messy signs
so I'm gonna
that are
say-
written in like childish kind of like it's like danger, stay out. Like,
All right, it's got to be somewhere right near the gate because that's where the road is, and the rest of this place is a complete shit swamp.
All right, so I think what we might be able to do, I'm Fidget saying this to Kimmy, we might be able to, if we can get to like the panel, like access a panel or I'm forgetting the word for it, like a terminal for these digistruct things, we might be able to program them to like just digistruct a bunch of them and then get them to converge like on a location, maybe like set up like a rallying point or something in their logic, and then just let nature take its course when they get there. They might just start opening fire, assuming the bandits are like an invading force, and then in the ensuing mayhem just make a run for the digistruct, the catch a ride.
That could be such a fun idea. Oh my gosh, I'm in.
Yeah.
Or vice versa.
We just got to get to them without them digistructing a bunch of loaders that try to kill us, or the turrets shooting us to death, which I might have something for that. Does would a cloaking device keep us sufficiently hidden from the turrets?
It's very likely that it could, as these are like old and like not kept up on very well. As you can see, they have like rust forming and like they get like stuck in a place and kind of like bzz, and then finally break and like begin to continue their swiveling rotation. So it is possible that these things don't have any kind of infrared vision or any of that nature.
No, I have that tech, and I have 2 tech slots. Invisible us up, and then go try to reprogram it.
Okay.
Nice.
All right, so
All right.
you're activating the cloaking device at a higher level to catch both you and Kimmy, or are you?
No, I'm just gonna have to use 2 tech slots.
Okay.
Oh wait, shoot! It's
Concentration,
Fuck,
I
it's concentration, isn't it? Shit. That's right. I forgot about that. This isn't old D&D where you can just cast it multiple times. Shoot. All right. Crap. Yeah, I don't have 3rd level tech slots yet. Dang it. Are you sneaky? I am not sneaky. I'm gonna 100% need it on myself.
Well,
What's
my other
stealth tied
suggestion,
to?
if we could get you in a feasible range, I can boost your initiative by a D8. So maybe, hopefully, you could just, tinker before it kills you or the rest of us.
Fair. Stealth's tied to dexterity, right?
Correct.
Okay. My dex isn't terrible. It's a 16, so it could go either way.
That would be what, plus 3, I believe?
Yeah.
And if you're not proficient in stealth, then it would just be a straight dex check for you.
Okay. That's a-okie dokie.
If you feel confident in your stealth. I mean, I don't feel confident in my stealth, so I'm definitely cloaking myself.
Pretty lucky with stealth rolls. Famous last words.
Why did you say it out loud?
I'm just gonna knock on some wood real quick. Okay.
Alright, so Tegan and Hobbs, you guys want to hang back as these two begin to, start stealthing their way in.
Sure.
All right.
Are you,
We'll know when the party is starting.
Yeah.
is Kimmy gonna take that? What is it? The Dr. Zed's horse pills? Because I have that too.
Yeah, a good idea.
Is that-
Yeah, so before you guys head off, Hobbs will just cast so it's tech, but is it literally pills?
Yeah, so it allows you to, basically deconstruct this. So the Zed's horse pills are full of, this special compound that famously was created by Dr. Zed, a quote-unquote doctor, that resided here on Pandora. And they are not only laced with special reactionary boosting components, but also harbor some tiny bits of microscopic nanobots that allow for boosts to certain muscle groups using electromagnetic stimulation.
I'll just say, here, Kimmy, let me just help you keep on the alert and, try not to think about the inevitable side effects I'm sure these have later. And I will give her some Dr. Z's horse pills. So do I roll the D8 or does she roll the D8?
Either one works for me. So if you want to go ahead and just roll it.
It's your bonus. I feel like you should.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
You don't have to roll it now. You can wait until if initiative is entered.
Okay.
If turrets do
Alright.
start shooting at you.
All right. Let's do this.
All right. So no stealth roll needed for you, Fidget, as you make your way within 30 feet of the compound. Moving a little bit ahead of Kimmy, you see for a moment it seems like the turret stops on your location, and then it get and begins moving back in the other direction. As you hold your breath for a second and okay. But as you're walking, you are kind of through this kind of grass. But awesome. Kimmy, if you would go ahead and give us that stealth.
All right, here we go. I'm not even kidding. It's another nat 20. Hang on. I'm gonna take a picture because this is ridiculous.
Nice.
Oop, wrong way.
Just a karmic repayment because your last one literally just got you through some swamp grass.
Right.
And it avoided all the threshers.
Literally
safe.
ridiculous. I sent a picture to the chat. I'm in shock.
Nice. All right.
So in typical me fashion, I was just effing around with my dice, and one of them fell out of my hand and landed on a nat 1.
Well, good thing that you didn't need to roll for that.
Dice are very floating.
So fantastic. So you guys like approach like the edge of this. So it's walled off on like that one side that kind of like loops around, forming like this crescent circle, and then like the side you're now approaching from is more open. There's like a large rock formation that like right next to it, a building is kind of like nestled into. And then there's this wall in a large platform where these like empty shipping containers are kind of strewn about. And on either end are Digistruct poles. So you begin to kind of move towards the back of one of these Digistruct poles. Next to it is a computer terminal. Fidget, you're able to just kind of like just kind of race up without this machine on. Kimmy, like you do the thing where you like squish down into the grass as much as you can whenever like the turret kind of moves in your direction. You just kind of hit the ground and like mush a little bit, so you're wet. You know, your entire front is slick now, but the grass is high enough it's able to conceal you, and as soon as it starts to move in the other direction, you like pop up and begin moving forward again. But you're both able to make it to the side of this terminal without this firing on you.
Let's get to it.
So, accessing this computer terminal, the first thing you have to do is bypass its initial security checks. So, Fidget, I will need a tech check with advantage from Kimmy as she kind of helps guide you through the familiar process.
Get my hacking kit out. Get to it. Well, both dice did not roll well, but
shit.
The better one was a 14, which isn't the worst roll ever.
Okay, on a 14, as you begin to access and using your hacking tools to decrypt the initial passcode, a red light starts spinning, and the turrets turn and face, not seeing you, but seeing Kimmy. Kimmy, roll initiative.
Oh no!
Fidget, you can roll initiative too, just to see how this all fits in. At this point, if everyone else
22.
is like, 45, 50 feet away, watching this from this safety distance. What'd you say again, Kimmy?
22.
22.
Is that with your D8?
Yes.
Nice.
Okay.
And Fidget, what'd you get?
17. I wish I rolled that on my hacking check.
Very nice. As not one but two turrets turn in your direction. One rolls high, rolls low. One and turret two. All right, Kimmy, you are first to act. As you see, you have one turret that's within like 20 feet of you. The next turret is closer to 40 feet away from you, kind of stretching across the aisles as it turns and also looks in your direction.
All right. I'm going to deploy my doppelganger tech to confuse them, and I guess I'll try to find cover around the side of the terminal thingy.
Okay. I will say, just prior knowledge to this, if you hide behind the terminal, they may still fire at you,
Oh. Okay.
which could interrupt what Fidget is trying to do.
Oh yeah, that's true. That's true. All right. I suppose I will try to focus, I guess, the turrets on myself.
Okay, so you duck out. You have your two digiclones that are always within 30 feet of you, but you can move one as a bonus action.
Yes.
So let's say they're both next to you as you digistruct them. And are you sending one off?
Yes, I am sending one off the max amount of feet away from me.
All right. So you send one of these guys, like, digistructs off, like, almost right in front of one of the other turrets that just kind of, like, looks down. Awesome. And then it, so you used your bonus action to move it, and you used your action to summon them. So, now this turret is going to fire. One is going to hit your Digistruct clone, and the other is going to roll a nat 1 and get stuck in its position, not being able to move in a direct firing line against you. But you are going to, your Digiclone rather, is going to take from these static defense turrets. 5, 8, 11 points of shock damage to this guy. and I believe they are susceptible to shock, so +3. So 14 points of shock damage to one of your digiclones.
Okay.
Alright, after that, Fidget, you are hacking away. Go ahead and give us another tech check. I will still allow it to be with advantage, as Kimmy, is like, get it done! Anytime you're like, what's the subroutine? She, calls out.
Oh, there we go. A nat 20.
Ooh! You blow past the... What? You're muted. Yeah.
Oh, I just said timely.
Dope.
I hack like I've never hacked before.
Take your badass token for that, and you blow past the initial firewalls, gain the access code. You're now into the system for this. Immediately begin pulling up these subroutines, and you find that there is in fact perimeter security to this area, and that it would have digistructed. You see these are equipped with standard issue gun loaders, which would deploy pretty much one after another for a certain series of events, as long as initial was surrounded. But you're able to look in and you find where the subroutine for spawning these things are. That would be the first step. The next step would be to then reprogram them so that they are able to march on, or tell them that there is a threat to the compound that they need to go to, towards. But awesome, you made that check as you're just furiously hacking away, still completely invisible. The second turret is going to fire with disadvantage as it breaks its stuck, glitching position. Moves at you, Kimmy, and with disadvantage is going to... I rolled a nat 20 and a 4. So it's gonna blast the ground in front of you with the sparks of plasma and sparks shower the area. But then, Kimmy, it's your turn again.
All right. Kimmy's going to try to get as far away from Fidget as she can so that, he doesn't get hit by accident.
Okay, you can easily move into the center of this place, finding those empty shipping containers. You can take full cover from one of these, or you can take half cover from both of these.
I'll take the half cover,
Alright,
and I'll move my other digiclone that I didn't move before to kind of distract them more.
Alright, so now these are both equally distant, 30 feet away from you, as you bamf one out here, and you're in the center.
Yes.
Awesome. Fantastic. So that's your movement and your bonus action. Are you taking an action?
I think I'm gonna hold my action just in case any of the people in this bandit camp can hear what's going on.
Fair enough. All right. Awesome. And then this turret the first turret is going to again fire at your digiclone that is standing directly in front of it. That is an 18 to hit. So that is going to take that's low rolls. Oh wow, I rolled so many low rolls. That's 8 plus the vulnerability, 12 points of shock damage to your first digiclone.
Alright, that digiclone is cooked.
Alright, Fidget, you're furiously hacking away. Go ahead and give us another tech check, as now you're trying to access the subroutines that allow these things to spawn and when to spawn.
Oh, natty 19.
Oh, I thought that was bad. I was like,
Sounded like a bad.
yeah.
This is the hot die tonight. So it's a 27.
Oh, all right. Blow past the firewall. You easily stop it. You could tell a fail-safe involving this firewall would have immediately started destructing loaders. So you're able to catch that and tear away that firewall and gain access to this frame, and you start. How do you want to program these things to destruct? You obviously don't want them to destruct immediately, but
yeah.
What's your plan for getting these things destructed? You can put it on a set to destruct 10 of these in 30 seconds or a minute or an hour.
Yeah, I'm gonna set it up to once. I want to set it up so that once I hit go, it'll just start making them, and just not even stop. Just keep fucking making the things for not infinitely, but just have a timer where it's for the next. Once I hit start, it just keeps making them for the next 10 minutes or something.
Okay, I would say there is a finite amount of resources this thing. Otherwise, Pandora would just become overrun with loader pods.
Yeah.
Well, that was virus,
my fear.
Bender.
was my fear. Is like how many resources are left to make loaders with, and I was like, yeah, maybe not infinite, because who knows? There might still be enough left to make like hundreds, and that's not good.
All right, awesome. So you continue fiercely hacking, bypass that around. This second turret's going to go ahead and fire now at your digiclone that you have put in front of it. And I rolled another nat 20 and another 4. I rolled the exact same thing it did last time, and it blasts the ground in front of your digiclone. As it, like, this one's obviously a lot harder off than this thing. But that will be the last round. It does disadvantage because of that nat 1 it rolled earlier. As it finally begins to move in a more fluid way. At the start of this initiative, before we get back to you, Kimmy, you do, Hobbs and Tegan, you do notice somebody walking up to the perimeter of the camp, which is still, like a good 60 feet away from you guys. Like, you're kind of laying low, amongst these small rock formations. But you do see somebody has taken notice to the fact that there is laser blast going off 120, 200, or between 120 and 150 feet away from their camp at that old Hyperion operation.
I'm not going to reveal myself. Hobbs will stay hidden, but I'm going to use my once per day here of my quick change tech, and I'm going to disguise myself as Winston.
All right, awesome.
Nice.
Just
Nice.
Slightly taller Winston, but yes, Winston is a tink, so you won't match his exact measurements, but yeah, you could definitely look like kind of an inflated version of him.
Just walk around on my knees while I'm
You're gonna John Leguizamo from Moulin Rouge. The web of motion. Spectacular. The what's up? Yeah. Brilliant.
If we had gone ahead with the we're gonna walk right up and try to talk to him plan, the thought had crossed my mind of doing that.
Awesome. Tegan, Huh?
So it's just one guy, right?
So far, it's just one guy that's kind of what the fuck?
The fuck?
Yeah, Tegan, you see Hobbs shift into the familiar visage of Winston. What do you want to do in this moment? Are you just holding, or do you have something ridiculous you want to pull?
I don't know. I'm gonna ask Hobbs, hey, what's your plan here?
If this scumbag gets too close, I'm gonna pretend to be this guy and tell him we have a message for Horley, something weird going on at the Hyperion facility. We'll just get this shit started early.
All right, brilliant. Moving back on into the initiative, Kimmy, you have your turn.
All right. Oh, jeez.
Oh, jeez.
Oh,
You know what?
Oh, jeez.
I'm not so sure about this.
I'm going to look to where I would approximate Fidget was and give him Bardic Inspiration,
Yay!
just in case.
I would approximate. Nice.
All right.
And
you got this, little guy.
don't forget, you're our son.
All of our son.
Yes, but oh goodness, I'm not entirely sure. I could fire but do I notice that guy? Like me specifically, or am I too preoccupied with the turrets?
I would say at this point you are preoccupied, and it's 120, 150 feet away from you. It's this dude kind of just saunters out of the camp. So I don't think you notice that.
Okay.
If you really want to roll for it, it will be with disadvantage. It will be a stupidly high DC, but you can try.
No, that's okay. Kimmy's not very observant, so I wanted to double check just in case.
It's miles beyond your passive perception, that's for sure.
Okay. All right. So I am going to fuck it. I will take a shot with my shotgun at one of the turrets. I know I'll probably have disadvantage, but that's fine.
Actually, you do not. I think. They're both about equal distance from you, so I'd say you're within short range of your shotgun for either of these guys.
Okay.
Because you kind of moved into the middle of the field to get away from Fidget.
Okay. Here we go. And that's a 2, so that's not gonna hit anything.
You pull out your shotgun and you blast at this turret, but it just kind of harmlessly strikes off. It doesn't get the impact you're looking for. But you can make attacks for your digiclones, which I just realized you haven't done since you opened them or activated
Yeah.
them.
Distraction tactic.
Yeah. But if you want them to, if you're full on assault mode now, you certainly can fire.
Yeah, I'm gonna have my remaining digiclone fire at the turret closest to it.
Okay. One digiclone's already down.
And that's a 12.
12. These are big static turrets, so unfortunately it doesn't though. It just, again, the plasma bolt just kind of like hits off like the still pretty sturdy armor of these things, as they are just big hunks of metal. But fair enough. After that, the turret fires. The first one. So you have 2 Digiclones up, or was one taken down by the last volley?
One got taken down.
Okay. So this one's firing at you. That's a 14 to hit. You do have a +2 because of the half cover.
Alright, so that does not hit.
All right. Strikes off the shipping, the small like container that you're kind of crouched behind. Fidget, go ahead. So at this point, as you're hacking your way in, you find 2 things. Now that you've breezed past the firewall and have access to the actual mainframe of this, there is a subroutine you can use to attempt to shut down the turrets, but it means not setting the programming for the Hyperion loaders yet. It's like you could do one and then go back to the other one, or you can just keep doing what you're doing with the Hyperion loaders. Failure to succeed against shutting down the turrets may result in other issues.
Yeah. Could I? Would it be harder to do, or instead of shutting down the turrets, would I be able to turn off the loaders like friend or foe recognition of the turrets, so they'll recognize them as enemies?
That is certainly a possibility. If you want to go for that, you can definitely make a tech check.
Yeah.
I will say, like at this point, you're hacking into the Hyperion's like sub protocols, so you can have your way with their programming to a certain extent.
Would it be just as long, like timeline wise? Would it take just as much time to do that as it would to try to turn off the turrets?
I would say at this point, yeah, it would be your action to do one or the other.
Yeah, I think pushing back activating them by a turn to try to get the turret shut off might be the smarter idea. Nice. Oh, that's a big number. 25. Math is hard sometimes. 25.
Nice. Fantastic. That was exactly the DC I had set.
Oh.
But I made that to be very difficult. And you,
Okay, all right.
you fucking nailed it. So Kimmy, as like you ready your shotgun to take another shot at these guys, you see they just lower their guns like down to a non-functional state.
Nice.
Yes.
Glad that worked.
Super good.
Yeah, fantastic. All right, so you guys are out of initiative now. However, at what would have been the start of initiative, hearing now the sound of gunfire coming from the Hyperion camp, this guy begins to yell something back to some whoever else might be nearby in the camp, and begins walking a little bit down the road, but is soon going to pass you, Hobbs, and Tegan, as you're kind of like hidden behind. You can see he's like off to the right of you, but moving towards you guys to move beyond you guys to start moving towards this Hyperion facility.
Yeah, I'm gonna hope to try and like not allow him to see Tegan inadvertently, and kind of just try to dart out before he's really, can see exactly where I'm coming from. And I'm not actually gonna put on my knees, I don't think. I'll just hope that he's not observant or doesn't know me well. And I'll stay at a kind of a distance, and I'll yell in my best asshole Winston impression, who I only met briefly, just like, hey, you cracked out, bandit, useless son of a bitch, find Horley, send him as quick as he can to this Hyperion facility. There's something wrong with the tech. It's out of control. Your whole camp could be gone in a matter of hours.
All right, brilliant. Go ahead. Go ahead and make a deception. I would also allow performance in this aspect since you're impersonating Winston, but either one, persuasion, performance, or no, deception,
Persuasion,
performance.
yeah, persuasion is the heads above winner, but so that is a 16.
All right, let's give this guy an insight. So this guy is walking up towards you, and you like jump out, like hands up and begin shooting stuff. He like points his gun at you and doesn't fire, just has his gun trained on you as you say this to him, and he's what? Oh shit! Hold it! And he just starts turning and running back. He's like, Ollie, attack, Ollie, and begins charging back into the camp. Fantastic. Averted. Back to Fidget. As Kimmy, you rejoin the spot where you're sure Fidget is still. You can see the keys on the keyboard clacking, even though nothing is pushing them.
I'm gonna check the window real quick. There's a bunch of lights. I'll be right back.
Okay.
Sorry.
But while she does that, Fidget, your last thing to program these Hyperion bots.
Okay. Am I doing this one with advantage?
Yep, Kimmy is still helping you as she's actively back, kind of like pointing at the screen and being like, "Oh, like the subroutine here, like yeah, this one, yeah."
All right. I'm gonna. What's Kimmy's inspiration die? I'm definitely adding that.
Kimmy, your inspiration die is a D6, correct?
It's a D8.
Oh.
A D8 at level 3? I don't think that.
Yeah, that's what you told me last time. Or
No, it was
is it?
it was a D8 that Hobbs allowed you to add to your initiative.
Oh, right. Sorry, my
Oh,
bad.
Okay.
Yeah, yes, it is a D6. My bad. I'm an idiot.
No, it's okay.
Please roll high. Please roll high.
I think like D8 is at like level 5 or 6 or something.
Not roll high. I got a 17 total.
17? Alright.
Yeah.
So as you begin hacking away, all of a sudden like warning signs start coming up on the screen, and not at the one you're digistructing, but at the pole that's across the station for it,
Yeah.
a loader begins digistructing. You've kind of frozen this digistruct pole so far, so it's not spawning it, but one gun loader is now being digistructed onto the field.
And then my I'm assuming I was not successful.
That was not a success, unfortunately.
That was not success, right?
It doesn't reset you.
Because I was just saying that the thing I'm trying to do next is set just the location to get them to go towards that camp. So that's where I fucked up.
Yes, so it doesn't reset you. You can take another stab at it, but the DC does become a little bit more challenging, which hasn't been a problem for you so far. But you did not hit that one. But this gun loader destructs onto the field and then begins about intruder, and just kind of begins marching. Kimmy, if you want to try to make a stealth check, you certainly can to not be immediately spotted by this loader.
I would like to do that, yes.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a 7.
Alright, this loader like immediately turns in your direction, seeing you hovered around the terminal, and is like, intruder, begins walking in. I'm gonna go ahead and roll initiative for him, which is very high, not higher than Kimmy's old initiative, so it is going to continue to go. So, as we resume initiative, Kimmy, you still have one digiclone up. You're now back at the terminal by Fidget. Your digistruct clone like whoomp, comes back to your side, and now there's a gun loader marching in your direction.
All right. I am going to send my digiclone right in front of this guy,
Yeah.
Intruder.
and I guess I'm going to run around the side of this guy and punch him with one of my corrosive knuckle charges.
Alright, go ahead and make your attack.
That's a 10.
10, unfortunately, I don't think hits this guy. I'm pulling it up as we speak for the gun loader. Gun loaders, top loaders, ice loaders, gun loaders. Yeah, unfortunately, 10 doesn't hit, as like you just kind of chunk into like a metal portion. The capsules don't break on your brass knuck, so it doesn't get the acidic effect.
Fair.
Take a shot with your. Are you taking a shot with your doppelganger?
Yes.
All right.
That's a 6.
Okay. Not having a lot of luck against this loader, as he like it just keeps ricocheting off like parts of his hardened body. But now the gun loader aims his assault rifle at your digiclone, fires a shot for a that would be a 14 to hit.
Oh yeah, that hits.
All right. For 10 points of piercing damage to this thing. At this point, more people are beginning to. You hear voices rising from the camp, some 60 feet back from you as people begin to muster. Fidget, it's up to you now.
What is this fucking Shadowrun? Come on. This really, really good plan that just went south very fucking quickly. Oh my god, I rolled the exact same fucking thing.
Brilliant. As now you see the Digistruct terminal that you're directly in front of lights up. Another gun loader begins to Digistruct onto the field. Intruder. Tegan and Hobbs, you're now seeing a lot of flashes happening from where your friends are.
Can I I don't know, make a perception check, thinking hey, they might be in trouble?
Yeah, absolutely. Go ahead and roll. Using your passive perception, it's easy to see the flying guns. But if you want to make an insight check or a perception check to deduce further what's happening, you certainly can.
Okay. Ooh, that's a nat 19.
Nice. Are you going for insight or perception?
I mean, I can go. I mean, like, what do you think would be more useful?
Insight might help you to deduce like the threat level of potentially what is actually going on. Perception would allow you to be able to see certain elements of what's happening to differentiate what some of these flashes are.
All right, let's do insight.
Insight. All right. Yeah, you get the feeling that something has gone wrong in the plan, and your friends are in danger.
All right, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna like fucking charge. I'm gonna fucking charge in.
All right. So go ahead and roll initiative. Hobbs, are you staying behind, or are you charging with again now?
I am charging in.
Yeah, no. When I see her take off, I will. I doubt I even got much explanation there, so I'll just go. Okay. Yeah. Nope. Okay.
All
I
right.
got a 9.
All right.
What was that? Are we rolling initiative?
Yep.
The fuck's my initiative? Oh, okay. That's a 5.
All right. So it's gonna take one full round of you guys just hauling ass, double dash in to make it in there. So you begin running. Fidget, you see your friends start charging in as now 2 Digistruct loaders are on the field. This Digistruct loader isn't gonna be able to. Well, I mean you're furiously hacking away, so with disadvantage, it cannot see you. So it turns towards Kimmy, who is now once again more in the center of this, in between these 2 loaders, with but one gun loader, with one doppelganger by her side. Kimmy, go ahead and take your action, or your turn, rather.
Sorry, I muted myself because
It's okay.
I was munching on crackers. I'm gonna try to punch the gun loader that's in front of me again.
All right, go ahead.
Oh, that's much better. Dirty 20.
That hits.
Nice. And hang on 1 second here. I can't find my page for the corrosive damage.
It's a D4.
Okay.
Being a robot, it'd be vulnerable to corrosive.
Yep. So if you hit, you will be able to add. Oh, you already hit. So yeah. So it's add 2D4.
Okay. That's 14 in total with the weakness die that I can't remember the name of at the moment.
Nice. The vulnerability die. Yeah. Awesome.
Yes.
So you hammer this thing like right in its like joint where its arm connects to the hulk of its body and dissolve it, and one of his arms just shunk falls off to the ground as it like intruder. Brilliant. That's your action. What else? Are you firing with your doppelganger, or are you moving?
I'm gonna fire with my doppelganger, but I'm gonna stay behind this robot.
All right. You firing at the same gun loader or the new gun loader?
I'm gonna have her fire at the new gun loader.
All right. Go ahead and take a shot.
Oh, that's a 19, so that would be 21.
21. Nice. That hits.
Okay, that's not the right one. 4 points of damage.
Nice. 4 points of damage to this bad boy. Awesome. That's it. Intruders. Brilliant. Now the gun loaders are gonna go. One's firing at your doppelganger with that would be an 18 to hit
Yep, that hits.
for 6 points of piercing damage,
Okay.
and the other's firing at you for a 14 to hit.
Yeah, that hits.
All right, for 11 points of piercing damage to you.
Okay.
Fidget, it is on you now.
Oh, come on. I'm going to try to, I'm going to switch tact here and try to, I'm going to try to, I'm going to try to fuck with their Hyperion system here and have the loaders think that we're Hyperion employees.
Okay, get them to stop directly attacking you at the moment, certainly.
Yeah.
That is a new tactic, so that will bring the DC back to base.
For fuck's sake. Why do I just keep rolling bad stuff now? I'm getting progressively worse. So, what was that? I rolled a 17, but that was with the inspiration die adding to it. And then I got a 16, and now I got a 15. They're just getting progressively one worse every time I roll.
Oh no.
Oh my god.
But a 16, is that with your modifier?
No, 15 altogether with my modifier.
Alright.
What is that? Yeah, 15.
Yeah, unfortunately, that one, it does not recognize the command input as you try to enter it in. And now from each Digistructable loaders begin
All my dice
destructing.
being bad.
This time you see one more gun loader enters the fray and an EXP loader. An exploder.
Oh no.
An exploder.
They will enter initiative at the top
This
of the
plan is half working perfectly.
Yes.
Yeah.
Awesome. At this point, Tegan and Hobbs, you arrive on the scene as you dash up, and you see two more loaders being digistruct on the field, and Kimmy's pincered by these two digistruct loaders with one of her doppelganger clones, hologram clones out. But it took, like I said, it took your turn to kind of get there, so we're gonna zoom back around to the top of initiative with Kimmy. You are muted.
Sorry, the hunger is real.
It's okay.
All right, I'm going to try to punch the robot again, I guess.
All right, go ahead.
And that's an 18.
18 hits.
Nice.
Going at the same one that you already knocked the arm off of.
Yes.
Remember, your Snucks only have limited charges per day.
Yes. Oh yeah, I know. I only have 2.
Okay.
12 points of damage total with the
With the vulnerability die.
Yeah. Thank you. Sorry, I keep forgetting what that word is.
Awesome. That one begins to smoke and shudder and kind of convulse and hits the ground dead. So there are only 3 gun loaders digistructed on the field. Are you taking a shot with your doppelganger?
Yes.
All right, go ahead.
Do you have any inspiration left?
Oh yeah. Yeah,
I
I
keep
would like to
fucking
give
up my
Fidget
rolls.
another inspiration.
Fidget, you gain your D6 inspiration as she hollers back to you.
Because I really need
Yeah,
to.
this time it sounds more like criticism than encouragement.
Yeah.
You totally got this, bud. Just a little more. Alright, my digiclone whiffs it because I just rolled a 5.
As it strikes the ground in front of this second gun loader that just popped up. Now, and also entering initiative, we have the third gun loader, which was on the field, which is going to take a shot at you, Kimmy, for a natural 1 as its gun jams.
Hey!
And he tosses the gun to the ground and begins just marching up to you. And Tegan and Hobbs, you are now on the scene. You have rolled initiative. You see 2 gun loaders surrounding Kimmy, and you see an EXP loader, which is just digistructed onto the field. And its core raises up, and it begins flashing its lights. Can't be anything good. So Tegan, you are up first.
Okay. So we got okay, so we got the 2 loaders and the 1
Exploder.
exploder.
Yep. The exploder is about 20 feet. It's closer to Fidget, but Fidget is invisible, so the exploder doesn't see. And then you have a gun loader that is walking towards Kimmy, about 20 feet away from Kimmy, and one that Kimmy is actually in melee combat with. Or that one went down. So there's actually, one a little further back from her.
Okay. So I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go into a rage and then just kind of fucking charge at the exploder.
Okay. All right, you charge the exploder. You race right up to it. All right, go ahead and make your attacks, I assume.
Yeah, and I'm gonna charge up my explodey knuckles.
Awesome.
Okay, let me make my attack roll. So that is a natural 9. That's a natural 19.
That'll hit.
All right, cool. So I give him a good. So I give him a good. Let's see. Give him a good punching. Oops. 3. So that's 9 bludgeoning.
Nice.
And let's see, where's my D4?
Here comes the boom.
Here comes the boom. And 3 explosive.
All right. As it rocks, it is now throwing sparks. And just arcing this kind of electricity around. All right. Is that it for you?
Now I'm going to use my left hand now.
Bonus action, offhand.
Polk.
All right, so that's a nat 17.
That hits.
All right. D6. That's 7 bludgeoning
All right.
and 1 explosive.
All right. With that, you reach up and double axe. It'll smash the thing on top of its head, slamming its core back into its body. It whirs and convulses and explodes. I need you to make a dexterity saving throw.
All right.
As this EXP loader do what it do. I will say it's
Okay.
just out of range for the computer terminal in Tegan.
Yay!
Or not Tegan, but Fidget rather. Yes.
Ooh, I rolled a 3.
All right. Here comes the boom. That is
The big boom.
18 points of explosive damage to you.
Oh, okay, that's not so bad.
As your shield breaks and you are left a little scorched and singed, but not too worse for the wear of this.
Yeah, I'm all right.
Dope. All right, Hobbs. As you see, there the one EXP loader has just been removed from the equation. There are 2 gun loaders, each approaching Kimmy in the center, kind of pincering Kimmy. Both within decent range. You're like 20 feet away from the first gun loader, and then like 40 feet away from the second gun loader.
Well, Hobbs is going to continue to follow Tegan's lead. Time being of the essence here, he is also going to fly into a rage, or he is going to go Gunzerker. So he is going to draw. I have a point of order question for you another time. We already covered that the sword can be a one-handed thing, but Vindicator, you can use two-handed weapons, but two-handed weapons can only be fired once. Just wanted to figure out how that works and if it would work with a sword instead. But Hobbs is going to draw both pistols. So I'm going to draw my Atlas and my Jacobs.
Nice.
And I will just fire at the nearest gun loader. Whether I don't know which one is Kimmy, which one is the Digistruct clone, so I'll just take out the one that I think is the easiest to hit.
All right, go for it.
Or try. Ooh, those aren't very good. That's an 11 and a 12.
Unfortunately, those miss as the bullets kind of ricochet off of its hardened metal body.
Ah, shit. Well, my bonus action was zerking, so that's it for me.
But you do see that as the bullets kind of pierce off of its back, it stops, rotates, and is now looking at you and begins to move towards you.
Oh, well, good. I accomplished something then.
But brilliant. All right, back up to the top with, we'll be wrapping this up. I know it's getting late, but we will be wrapping this up sooner than later, I imagine. But Kimmy, that's you.
I'm going to run up to the gun loader in front of me, like the closest one.
Yep.
And I'm going to activate the elemental relic using the corrosive relic.
Nice. As you pull out this Iridium, Digistruct this Iridium artifact into your hand and slam it into the ground.
Yes.
Awesome. Is that a dex save?
Yes.
Not the most dexterous things, these bots. And that's going to be 9.
That does not beat my tech save DC.
Awesome. So go ahead and describe what this elemental relic do.
So it kind of like makes kind of a waving effect on the ground, and they progressively get bigger until it just like...
Nice. With corrosive energy. So go ahead and roll your damage for that, including the D4 for their vulnerability.
Alright, so that's 5 on the D6, and then... So that's 6 points of damage, including the vulnerability die.
Excellent. And as that like washes off, you see like it takes one leg off the loader, and the loader like wobbles for a second before collapsing to the ground, and then picks itself up on its 2 arms, abandoning its gun, and begins walking its way on its hands to you. But awesome. You still have one doppelganger up, I believe?
Yes.
Go ahead and take that.
And, oh yeah, and that's a 12.
12 does not hit this thing, unfortunately. It is
No, I
prone. It
figured.
is prone though, but yeah, go ahead. I'll give you advantage on it. Roll one more.
Okay. Oh, that one's a nat 20.
Oh shit! All right.
Oh shit!
Critical hit on this thing. Go ahead and roll the double damage for your doppelganger.
Alright. That's 5 points of damage.
Oh, it is still up. As it like but you do have an option. You can, or actually, let me look at that. Yep, you do have an option. You can target one of its arms, one of its legs, or its central optical sensor.
I'm gonna target the central optical sensor.
Because that's what he was gonna use on the next turn. Now he can't.
Sorry, babe.
As the blast like strikes the optical sensor, and the optical sensor like has trouble like focusing. It can't like it's out of commission for the next round, and it has disadvantage on other attacks while disoriented in this nature. Gun loaders have critical vulnerabilities, by the way. Awesome. After that, this gun loader is gonna go, which he can't. I'm gonna put away my D10 because I can't use the optical blast. And, it rolls a nat 1 to try to reach out and like just like punch you, and when it lifts up one hand, it can't balance and it just flops onto its back. Like, brilliant. Fidget, what are you doing this turn?
Are other than that loader, are there any other active loaders on the field?
There are currently 2. One is largely unscathed and walking towards Hobbs. The other is turtling on its back, missing a leg.
All right. I'm wondering if at this point I should just.
You have inspiration as well.
Yeah. And I want to make it count. So I want. Hopefully, I succeed on this check. I want it to be the last one I attempt.
Okay.
So I'm gonna tell everyone real quick over my Echo device. Well, they're all here now, so I'll just yell it to them. I'll be like, "Hey, I'm gonna just try to scrap the whole idea of fucking with their friend or foe system and just start saying to that camp. So, just assuming I succeed at that, I'm gonna hit go and have it start running my routine, and then we just all need to get out of the line of sight of these Digistruct systems."
Okay.
Come on.
Easy peasy.
So, okay, I need the inspiration die. I did not. I rolling bad on the D20. All my good D20 rolls are gone. 6. Oh, yeah, roll it. Just throw it like on the floor. Oh my god. Okay, I got an 18 total.
An 18 will do it on this, as you're just trying to initiate them and send them in a directive, not messing with their sub-protocols.
I just set the routine to when new one is created, go here, and then they resume normal behavior after doing that, and I just set that point somewhere that is visually within the camp.
Yes.
And then I just hit the go button and just tell everyone, just get out of here, it's going.
All right. As immediately you see another gun loader and an EXP loader begin immediately digistructing on the field. And even the one that's closely approaching Hobbs, begins to, it's like its antenna lights up and it begins to, start moving away from the camp. But it is going to take one last, it's going to use its optical sensor on you, Hobbs, for one last attack on you before it moves, which is a 10 to hit. So, awesome. So, alright, so you guys, Fidget, you immediately begin, hauling ass away. Everyone else, Fidget yells at you that, we're active, let's move. So, is everyone going to begin running away?
Yes.
All right, full on.
But there's still robots to punch.
About that right now.
Yeah.
Oh, fine.
All right, Tegan, you reload.
Oh, there's
If I don't say you can punch me, you can. Let's go.
yeah, there's plenty of opportunities for this to still go south.
Tegan, I will say with one last active fight, you punt the loader that's turtling on its back and just send it careening into the distance before you begin running and catching up with your friends. Awesome.
Just fucking field goal kick.
Yeah.
Actually, when
send-
Homer
you send
Simpson kicks that vision turtle.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I like that better. I was gonna say you send it cruising like Team Rocket, but I like that one better.
Not really bad either. I like the sparkle.
Yeah.
Awesome. You guys begin to tear away from the camp, and you get a good 60 feet out from it, and immediately hit the ground as you see two technicals tearing down the road, coming towards the Hyperion camp, alerted that there is an incoming invasion on their bandit camp. Horley has sent his crew to go investigate as these two things roll up. Now, at this point, as it's coming up on the camp, there's easily another 5 loaders currently digistructed as they begin marching down the road.
Yay!
And the vehicle plows into 2 of them, but one hangs onto the roof and grabs hold of the head of the driver and begins crushing it as it squeals, and the other technical comes to stop. Everyone abandons that technical and they all begin a huge skirmish as you sit and watch the carnage in the grass to the side. And that is where we will end our session tonight of Vaults and Villains.
Nice.